Ever notice this? You lift someone up when they're down, you give your time, your money, your energy, and the second you're not there, they stab you in the back. Welcome to the brutal truth of human nature. Most people think loyalty comes automatically when you help someone. Wrong. That's naive. In reality, helping others makes you a target, and the betrayal, it's coming whether you like it or not. If you've ever been burned helping someone, hit that like button. Share this, because it's time we stop being blind to betrayal. The first step to power is seeing reality as it is, not as you wish it would be. Most people operate on impulse and self-interest. Gratitude is often temporary. People may thank you in the moment, but when opportunity or greed strikes, loyalty evaporates. This is why helping indiscriminately without a clear understanding of human nature is dangerous. If you're constantly giving, you're also constantly exposing your weaknesses, the energy, the money, the trust that people can exploit. Loyalty isn't a default human trait. It's earned, tested, and proven under pressure. The people who betray you aren't villains. They're just ordinary humans acting predictably. Understanding this is empowering. Once you accept that betrayal is a natural risk when you help, you stop being shocked by it. You stop giving blindly and start helping strategically. You set boundaries, you choose carefully, and you create a reality where your generosity isn't a weakness, it's a weapon. Real power comes from seeing the world clearly, not through rose-colored glasses. When you help without boundaries, you set yourself up for a dangerous dynamic: dependency and entitlement. People are quick to lean on those who consistently give, expecting your support as a right rather than a privilege. What starts as genuine assistance can easily turn into an invisible leash, with others relying on your energy, your time, or your resources without considering the cost to you. The problem isn't that they're inherently bad, it's that they're human, and humans naturally gravitate toward what benefits them with the least effort. When you fail to enforce limits, you teach people that your generosity is unlimited, that your patience is infinite, and that your resources are theirs for the taking. This is when gratitude dies and entitlement rises. The more you give, the more they expect, and the moment you hesitate, question, or withdraw, the resentment can surface, often disguised as betrayal. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's strategic. It signals that your help has value, that your trust is earned, and that your generosity is a choice, not an obligation. Only when people recognize that your support isn't automatic do they respect it. And only then does loyalty become possible. Helping selectively doesn't make you cold. It makes you powerful. You're no longer a doormat or a perpetual provider. You're a force that others must earn access to. Understanding this protects your energy, your focus, and your future from those who mistake kindness for weakness. True power comes when help is given on your terms, not theirs. Most people act from self-interest, not morality. This is one of the hardest truths to swallow because it goes against the way we're taught to see the world. You want to believe that good deeds are rewarded, that loyalty is natural, that people will repay kindness out of decency. The truth is far more brutal. Humans prioritize what benefits them, often at the expense of others. When you help someone, your actions may seem noble to you, but to them, it's an opportunity. An opportunity to gain, take, or even manipulate. Self-interest doesn't make someone evil, it makes them human. Morality is a construct that guides decisions, but it isn't universal. Not everyone weighs fairness or gratitude over advantage. The people who betray you after you've helped them aren't monsters. They are simply responding to incentives, pressures, or envy that you may never fully understand. Recognizing this changes the game completely. You stop expecting that helping automatically creates bonds. You stop giving blindly, believing that people will do the right thing. Instead, you become strategic. You help where it matters, you protect yourself where it counts, and you never let generosity cloud judgment. Acting with awareness of self-interest isn't cynical, it's empowerment. When you see that most people operate from what benefits them, you stop being shocked by betrayal, you stop being exploited, and you start controlling your reality. Self-interest is the rule, not the exception. And once you internalize that, you gain clarity, strength, and freedom from disappointment. Your generosity exposes your weaknesses to predators disguised as friends. When you give freely, your time, your money, your trust, you're not just helping, you're sending a signal. I can be leaned on, I can be counted on, I am open. Most people aren't looking for friendship or loyalty. They're scanning for opportunity. They see a resource they can exploit without thinking twice about consequences. The more you give without caution, the more visible your vulnerabilities become. Every favor, every loan, every act of kindness is data for them. They learn what you value, what you fear, what you'll tolerate. And humans, by nature, are opportunistic. Those who betray you don't necessarily plan it maliciously from the start. They react to what's in front of them. They act in self-interest, testing boundaries, calculating how far they can push you. Your generosity, when unguarded, makes that calculation easier for them. The key is understanding this isn't personal, it's predictable. You aren't weak for helping. You're weak if you fail to see the risks. Strategic generosity protects you while still letting you give. It's about choosing carefully who deserves access to your resources, who has proven their integrity, and who can handle your trust without taking advantage. Once you treat your generosity as a tool rather than a free pass, you stop being an open target. You give, yes, but on your terms, and with full awareness that not everyone will repay it in loyalty. Awareness transforms your giving from vulnerability into strength. Betrayal often comes from envy, not necessity. People don't always stab you in the back because they need something from you. They do it because they resent what you have, the opportunities you create, or the confidence you display. When you help someone rise, when you give them resources, knowledge, or guidance, it can unintentionally shine a spotlight on your own success. Some people can't handle seeing another person thrive, even if they benefited from it. Envy is subtle but deadly. It whispers, it builds silently, and when it reaches a tipping point, it becomes action, often disguised as betrayal. This is why the people you help most can sometimes turn on you the fastest. They don't need to, they choose to, driven by insecurity, jealousy, or fear of being overshadowed. Recognizing this changes everything. You begin to understand that betrayal isn't always about what you did for them. It's about what they can't handle about you. And that means your generosity isn't inherently dangerous, but your visibility is. To protect yourself, you have to be smart about who you empower and how. You can't control their emotions, but you can control your boundaries and your exposure. Helping selectively doesn't make you selfish. It makes you untouchable. It means you give where it's deserved and where it won't be twisted into resentment. Envy is inevitable, but strategic generosity turns potential threats into controlled influence rather than open vulnerability. The lesson is clear. The better you are, the more envy you attract, so you have to move wisely. Reciprocity is a choice, not an obligation. Many people operate under the assumption that when you help someone, they automatically owe you loyalty, gratitude, or support in return. That's a dangerous illusion. The world doesn't work on moral bookkeeping. People respond to incentives, convenience, and self-interest, not invisible contracts of fairness. Just because you gave doesn't mean you are entitled to repayment, respect, or allegiance. Expecting it sets you up for disappointment and makes you vulnerable to betrayal. Understanding this flips the script. When you stop treating reciprocity as a guarantee, you reclaim control. You help because it aligns with your values, because it strengthens your influence, or because it makes strategic sense. Not because you expect a debt to be repaid. This mindset removes emotional exposure. You are no longer hurt when someone takes what you give and walks away. You simply recognize that their choice reflects who they are, not your worth. Treating reciprocity as a privilege rather than an obligation allows you to be generous on your terms, with boundaries, and without being exploited. It also teaches others that your help is valuable and not to be taken lightly. Once you internalize that giving doesn't guarantee loyalty, you gain freedom, clarity, and resilience. You stop being a passive participant in other people's choices and start leading your own life strategically. Power comes from understanding the difference between what you offer and what others are willing to return and acting accordingly. Every betrayal is a lesson. Be smarter, not bitter. No matter how careful you are, some people will take advantage of your generosity, twist your trust, or turn on you when it suits them. The instinctive reaction is anger, disappointment, or a desire for revenge, but that only keeps you trapped in someone else's game. The real power lies in extracting the lesson from each betrayal. Ask yourself, what did I miss? Where were my boundaries too loose? Whose character did I misread? Every betrayal reveals patterns about human nature, about who is worthy of trust, and about how to safeguard your energy going forward. Instead of wasting energy on resentment, focus on strategy. Each painful experience becomes a map for future decisions. It teaches you to identify red flags, to help selectively, and to value your generosity as a tool rather than a weakness. The bitter person relives betrayal. The smart person learns and adapts. Betrayal isn't the end. It's a test of awareness, patience, and discernment. If you play it right, it strengthens you rather than breaks you. It sharpens your judgment, reinforces your boundaries, and makes your influence more precise. Being smarter after betrayal doesn't mean you stop helping. It means you give with power, clarity, and control. The world is full of people who will exploit weakness, but very few learn to turn those lessons into strength. Be among the rare ones. Accept that betrayal is inevitable. Use it to refine your strategy and walk forward stronger, smarter, and untouchable. Here's the reality nobody wants to admit. The world doesn't owe you loyalty, gratitude, or fairness. Every person you help, every favor you do, every ounce of energy you give is a test, and many will fail it. Some will betray you not because they have to, but because they can. They will envy your success, exploit your generosity, and take advantage of your trust. And if you keep giving blindly, you'll keep getting burned. That's why the strongest people don't just help, they help smart. They don't hand out their energy to anyone who asks. They choose carefully, strategically, and with full awareness of human nature. Generosity becomes a weapon, boundaries become armor, and every betrayal becomes a lesson. You learn to spot who's worth your time, who's loyal, and who is destined to turn when opportunity knocks. You don't waste anger on the disloyal. You use clarity, discipline, and selective action to stay untouchable. When you understand this, you stop being naive. You stop expecting repayment, loyalty, or gratitude. You give because it serves your purpose, not theirs. And here's the ultimate truth. The people who betray you are not your enemies. They are your teachers. Every cut, every lie, every backstab is a mirror, showing you exactly where to tighten your circle, sharpen your strategy, and protect your power. So stop being shocked. Stop being a victim. Take the lesson, embrace the truth, and move forward stronger, smarter, and absolutely untouchable. In a world that thrives on self-interest, that is the only way to win.